Hey guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we'll be talking about logical operators. If you guys have not watched my last video about relational operators, you guys should probably watch that before you watch this video because I'll be using both relational operators and if statements in this video. So if you've watched that video, let's get started. So I'm going to start off by creating three integer variables, which is like int x equals 54, semicolon, int y equals 32, semicolon, and int z equals 12. I just made them in descending order. If you guys want to follow along with my tutorial on your own computer, I'd recommend making any three integer values, and each variable will have a decreasing value. Unless, of course, you guys want to make up your own integer values for all these and follow along separately. So I'm going to start off by creating a little if statement, which says if, I don't know, x is greater than y, and then brackets, system out dot println. And then how about we print out something like this worked, and semicolon at the end, and then if we run this. So basically, as you guys should know from our previous videos, this is a simple if statement where if this statement is true, we're going to run through this. But here's the thing. Not all if statements have to be this simple. You can also use another if statement where we add two ampersands in between, which are just this symbol, and we can add a second statement, like y is greater than z. So, okay, we have this statement over here, and if we're going to run our code, and we see over here, if x is greater than y, this is a true statement, 54 is greater than 32, and if y is greater than z, this is also true, 32 is greater than 12. Since both these statements are true, we're going to execute the system.out.println function. And when we check, we get that this worked, printed to the console. Now, I'm going to create another else statement below this. I'm going to say else, and then bracket, system out, println, this, oops, my quotes, this did not work. Okay, a semicolon at the end, and respell system. Okay, so now I have an if statement over here and an else statement, and this else statement will only get run when this if statement is false. Okay, so I'm just going to create another, delete the second statement in the if statement, and I'm going to change it to something that is false. Like suppose z is greater than y. Just by looking at the numbers, we can see that 12 is not greater than 32. And since an AND statement requires both of these statements to be true, we would expect this to skip over this worked function and go straight into the else statement and print out this did not work. When we check below, this is exactly what we got. Because since both statements were not true in this and, with this and, it will just go to the else statement. Also note, if you only have one ampersand, this will not really work. Like if you ran the code, even if you only had a 1 ampersand, then straightforward, it would just work similarly. That's what I meant to say, yeah. So that's when you want to have two true values with AND statements. Another thing we can have that's a relational operator is the OR. And OR is simply done by these two pipes. Okay, so all this means is if this statement is true, or if this statement is true, go through this. In this example, since x is greater than y is a true statement, and z is greater than y is a false statement, we still have at least one true statement making this entire if statement true and printing out whatever's in the system.out.println this worked function. This is exactly why we get this worked printed to the console as a result. Now, suppose I once again change this statement and I swap the x's and the y's. If we did this, then both sides of the statement would be false. And since we have two statements that are false in this if statement, this would go through the else statement and instead print this did not work. And when we check, this is exactly what we get. Now, there's one more logical operator, which is the not. So suppose I wanted to say if, and for this statement, I'm going to change these integers. I'm going to make two booleans instead. So I'm going to make boolean x equals true, and true is lowercase. And I'm going to make boolean y equals true as well. Okay? So if I say something like if, suppose I wrote not, which is represented by this logical operator of an exclamation point, and I'm going to write parentheses, x and y. I'm going to run this code. So this might not print out what you guys think. It will print out this did not work, and this is just simply because whenever we have this not followed by everything in the parentheses, the not changes this to x, there's not x, which is the opposite of x, which means x is false and y is false. And this and operator also turns into an or operator. So similarly, if we had or in between, then with the not statement, this would turn into an and statement. Okay, just to demonstrate this a little better, I'll change the value of y to false. And I'll change this into an and. Okay? So basically by doing this, I'm changing the statement so we're getting not x, which is not x is false, and not y, which is not false would be true. So it's false or true, because as I mentioned before, when you have an exclamation point and then brackets surrounding the double ampersand, this ampersand, double ampersand becomes an and. I mean, this double ampersand becomes an or, not an and. Similarly, if I change this double ampersand into the or statement, then this statement would be false because this double ampersand would change into this double pipe would change into a double ampersand, which means and. And with an and statement, you'd require both statements to be true. But in this x statement will be false, and only this y statement will be true. Which is why, when we ran this code, it says down here, this did not work. If you got, by the way, this is called DeMarge's law, with exclamation point and brackets in the x and y with the changes in data type. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, I'll be making another video a little later on. But I hope you enjoyed this video on logical operators, and I hope you actually learned something. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe down below. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.